Thank you, Chairwoman Maloney, and thanks to the committee for allowing me to wave on to this committee today and for having this very important hearing. Before I start, let me just ask a couple of questions. And maybe I'll start, Mr. Daniel, real quickly. What's M&P stand for?
Excuse me, sir?
What does M&P stand for?
You're talking about from Smith & Wesson?
Yeah, just in marketing, when we're talking about a gun, what does M&P represent?
I think Smith & Wesson uses M&P for military and police.
Right. Thank you. And Mr. Buse, maybe I'll ask you this question. I'm not a hunter, but a follow-up shot in hunting, what is that typically when someone's deer hunting?
A follow-up shot in hunting is a follow-up shot anywhere is a second shot on something.
Yeah, and if you are deer hunting, if you're lucky, how many shots might you get at a deer? If you hit it or miss the first time, how many follow-up shots are you going to get?
Well, you shouldn't miss, but I mean, a typical deer hunter may get one more, maybe.
Right. So the idea of a gun that can fire 83 shots in just a couple of seconds for deer hunting, that doesn't make a lot of sense.
Not only does it make a lot of sense, in many states that is prohibited by law.
Right. There's, as I understand it, in fact, some places you can only have 3 or 5 bullets in your gun when you're deer hunting.
That's correct, yeah.
So I'm here today. I'm not only here as a representative, but I'm a resident of Highland Park, which, as you know and have talked about today, had a horrible mass shooting at the 4th of July parade. Like many residents, I joined thousands of families as we waited for the Independence Day parade, when a single deranged man climbed a ladder to a rooftop and monstrously opened fire on the crowd from above. In less than a minute, he fired 83 shots from an AR-style Smith & Wesson M&P 15 semi-automatic rifle, military and police, not hunting, military and police rifle, murdering 7 and wounding dozens more, which should have been a joyful celebration ended in tragedy and trauma for an entire community. And his intent was to kill many more. Mr. Daniel, in your testimony, you mentioned that they often target, that these shooters go after soft targets. Our parade ground was not a soft target per se. There were plenty of it wasn't a gun-free zone. The police were there. First responders were there. In fact, they were heroes, but he was able to fire off, the shooter was able to fire off his bullets so fast that they couldn't even identify from where they were coming from. We heard from some of those victims today about how their families were shaken, their friends were injured, and their sense of safety, our safety, was forever broken. I want to thank the many victims who shared their story, and I commend their bravery for speaking out. Without an assault weapon, the shooter in Highland Park would likely not have afflicted the carnage, the extreme carnage we experienced. The M&P stands for, as you said, military and police, and yet Smith & Wesson markets and sell these weapons of war to civilians like the monster who murdered 7 people. His intent was to kill many more. These weapons were designed to massacre. For that reason, I've been talking to my colleagues about the importance of voting for H.R. 1808, a bill that would reinstate the federal ban on selling these assault weapons. Well, I'd like to address Smith & Wesson brands on their role in Highland Park shooting today. Unfortunately, they're not here. Mr. Daniel, let me turn to you. Your company, Daniel Defense, as you mentioned, has grown. It's one of the leading voices in marketing assault weapons to civilians. In one of your ads, you used the slogan, "Use what they use," showing that you know these weapons are designed, they, I assume, being the military, that they're designed for war, but using them in a civilian role all the same. You posted that photo we've talked about of the toddler holding a gun, and I understand why you took it down. But you know, I have a degree in business from Kellogg School at Northwestern, a marketing school. We know the power of marketing, especially the power of marketing to young people, whether it's cereal or cigarettes or, in this case, guns. Given that you apparently are knowingly marketing young people, and you know that these young people, in particular, their weapon of choice is the assault weapon, the AR-15, why do you think companies should be shielded from liability if a weapon marketed to a young person is used by a young person to massacre a community, whether it's Uvalde, Buffalo, Highland Park, or any of the other countless names we've already experienced these tragedies?
Congressman, we market and sell our products to law-abiding citizens who are adults. We cannot sell firearms to children.
So, but the marketing to young people creates the market. We know marketing works. That's why companies spend millions and billions of dollars selling everything from makeup to cereal, as I talked about, to cars, and imagery matters, and the connection to military for these young people. It's not for hunting. You don't take these weapons to go and hunt deer or do fowl hunting.
The gentleman's time has expired. The gentleman may answer the question.
What was the question?
It was more of a comment, so I yield back the balance of my time.
Gentleman yields